Hello everyone. We will discuss the question 3 of the CodeStart contest, that is Chocolaty Boys. The name of the question seems quite interesting. So let us look what the question says. Smith, Harsh and Sarvagna are friends. Today is Sarvagna's birthday. So Harsh and Smith decided to gift him a birthday card with a birthday message individually. Smith writes string 1 and Harsh writes string 2 as the birthday message. So in return, Sarvagna decides to give them chocolates. Sarvagna is very fond of integers and he decides to give X chocolates to the person whose message contains a sum of integers equal to X. So Smith and Harsh both will write some strings as the birthday message. So in that string there might be some integers. So Sarvagna has decided that he will give X chocolates to each person. And what this X will be? It will be the sum of integers in their respective messages. So we have to find that who will receive more chocolates. So coming to the question, so this question is mainly based on the string and its manipulations. So in strings we have to find whether the string contains some integer or not, and whatever integers are present in the string we have to find the sum of those integers. So coming to the input format, so input format first line consists a number t, that is the number of test cases. Then for each test cases there are 4 lines. The first line takes the length of string str1, then followed by the actual string. Then third line takes the length of string 2 followed by str2. Then the constraints given are, in each input the number of test cases will be from 1 to 100 and the length of string 1 and string 2 will be between 1 and 100. So maximum the message will be 100 characters long. Generally in CP the questions are in the form of story, and in some questions the story can be very long. Here the question is not so long, but there can be questions which are long. So while we read the question we should extract some useful information from the question. So in this question some useful information is like Smith writes string 1 and Harsh writes string 2 as birthday messages, and Sarvagna has decided to give X chocolates. And what is at X? It is the sum of integers in the string. So what we have to find, we have to decide who will receive more chocolates. So we have extracted all the useful information from the question. Now uh, here we have to find who will receive more chocolates. So after taking the input of the string, so let's say considering a sample input in which the length of string 1 is 9, so it contains 9 characters, and the length of string 2 is 25, and it reads happy birthday Sarvagna 123, and we have to find whether Smith will receive more chocolates or Harsh will receive more chocolates. So for this question our approach should be, we'll take the string and then we'll start traversing it from the 0th index. So from H we will start traversing the string linearly. So what we will do, at each point we will check if that character is an integer or not. So whenever we encounter an integer, for example in this string we'll encounter the integer at 1, this one. So what we have to do, we have to maintain a count of the sum, that what is the sum of all the integers in that string. So for that what we can do is, we can maintain two integer variables, that is sum1 for the sum of integer in string 1 and sum2 for the sum of integers in string 2. So we will maintain these two. So for the first string what we will do, we'll traverse the string whenever we come to 1, so we will append 1 to the sum1. Then we encounter 8. So is 8 an integer? Yes. So we will add that 8 in the sum. Then we have t and 8. So further we have no integers and entire string is traversed. So for the string 1 we will have the sum equal to 9. Similarly for this string we'll have these three integers, that is 1, 2 and 3. So what will the sum 2 be? 1 plus 2 plus 3, and that accounts to 6. So now we got sum 1 and sum 2, that is the sum of integers in the string 1 and sum of integers in string 2. So here we find that sum 1 is greater than sum 2 since 9 is greater than 6. So we will write if sum 1 is greater than sum 2, then we have to print Smith, because Smith will get more chocolates, right? So we have to print Smith. Else if sum 2 is greater than sum 1, then we have to print Harsh. Else if both the sums are equal, then we have to print same. Okay, so after finding both sum 1 and sum 2, what we have to do is we have to check if sum 1 is greater than sum 2, then we have to print Smith. If sum 2 is greater than sum 1, we have to print Harsh. Else we have to print same, that is both will get same number of chocolates. So coming to this input, similarly we can see in this message happy birthday there is no integer. So this person, that is Smith, will receive 0 chocolates, and here it contains two integers 2 and 1 with sum to 3. So Harsh will receive 3 chocolates. So definitely Harsh is receiving more chocolates, so we will print Harsh in this case. Okay, so this is an easy question of string. We have to just traverse both the strings and we have to find the sum of integers in the strings. Now we have discussed the approach and the solution for this question. So what will be the time complexity of this question? So if m is the length of string 1 and if n is the length of string 2, then what we actually are doing is we are traversing both the strings linearly and only one time. So our complexity will be big O of maximum of m or n, means whichever, either m or n, whichever string is greater, that will be the time complexity of our solution. Let us write the code for this question. So firstly we have to take the input of t test cases, so integer t, and we have to input t test cases. Then while there are test cases, my code should run. So while t minus minus, I'll write the main code in this loop. Okay, so we have to take 4 inputs, that is the length of string 1, then string 1, the length of string 2, and then string 2. So I'll declare 2 string variables, str1 and str2, and then 2 integers m and n. Now we have to take their inputs after declaring them. So c in m, then c in string 1. Similarly, we have to input n and then string 2. So n and then string 2. Okay, now we have taken the input. Now as we discussed in our approach, we should maintain 2 counters, that is sum 1 and sum 2. So integer sum 1 equal to 0 and sum 2 is equal to 0. Okay, the initialization of both the sums is 0. Now we'll traverse the first string. So for m is the length of the first string, so we will go till index m minus 1. Now at each index we have to check if it is an integer. So what we will check, if the character at the ith index, if it is integer, so it should be greater than equal to 1 and it should be less than equal to 9. Here we are not including 0, because if it is 0 then also it would not affect the sum. So we are not considering 0, you can also consider 0. Then what we should do, if it is integer, we should add that to sum. So we have to write sum 1 plus equal to string of I minus 0. Now this is very important over here. If we directly add the string of 1, then the ASCII value of that will be added and we'll get the incorrect answer. So what we have to do is we have to subtract it from the character 0 and then we have to add that to sum. So by this we'll traverse the whole string and we'll keep on adding the integers to sum1. Then similarly we have to do the same thing for sum2, that is the second string. So the n is the length of the second string, so we'll do that, and here instead of string 1 we'll have string 2, and there is the sum2 plus equal to string 2, and here it is string 1. Okay, so we have maintained sum1 and sum2 and we got the sum of integers in both the strings. Now what we have to do, now we have certain conditions. So if sum1 equal to sum2, if both the sums are equal, then what we have to do, we have to print same. Then if sum1 is greater, else if sum1 is greater than sum2, then what we should do, we should print Smith, because Smith is writing the string 1, so he will receive more chocolates. And else what is the third condition, that is sum2 will be greater, so in that case we have to print Harsh. Okay, and finally return 0. So let us submit our code. Okay, so we see the code is accepted as it has passed all the test cases. So this was fairly easy problem, and I hope you understood the solution. Further, if anyone has any doubts, then there is a discussions panel over here, so you can post your doubts over here and you can also discuss among yourselves. Thank you.